Alright, guys. So, as you can see, I've taken over Arsenal and the job is about to begin. Here we go. So, I've arrived, I've taken over Ateta's job. Sorry, Ateta, but this is Coachito's time. So, before I do anything, the first thing I want to point out is this date up here. As you can see, we're playing FM22, and normally it should start from 2021. So but I downloaded something, an update that enables me to be able to put the league where it ended last season. So you can confirm this. It's called the real fixtures database. So I was able to get that, and you'll get the you'll get the way the league finished last season. When you do this, you don't have to add a promotional database to it where you get the newly promoted teams. Just from this, automatically same thing goes for every other league. The update affects every other league. If you check this out, if you go to La Liga, you can see Madrid won the league, and every position is just how it ended last season. As at the time of this recording, the season has finished and a new season has begun. The 2022-2023 season has begun, which is why I decided to manage Arsenal to see if I can get Arsenal to where Arsenal is trying to get to real life. Hence the trust the process slogan. So as you can see that if you check the Serie A, you can see Milan won the league, and everywhere else, even in the Premiership, this is how the league ended. You guys can remember that eventful final day where Man City came back from 2-0 down to win the league, and Liverpool ended with 1 point behind them. Shocker. So yeah, so that's where I'm at. I'll be playing the Europa League this season based on where Arsenal finished. You guys remember that dreadful Newcastle match where Arsenal ought to have won and then win the final game, but they lost to Newcastle. Check out Newcastle here. Newcastle ended 11th. Like, they didn't have anything to gain from that match, basically. So it was Arsenal's game to win, but man, they flopped it, and here we are. Playing in the Europa League is going to mean some challenge for getting players, because top players like to play in the Champions League. So this is the formation I love to use. Now, before I go into that, I need to also point out something, just because of the date that you are starting. When you download that update and you install it to the game, you'll be able to start your game from 30th of 2022. So basically, the next day from this point is going to be 1st of June. You understand? So 1st of June. So because of that, let's go to loans here. So normally FM starts from 2021. So real life, all the players that have gone on loan are supposed to go for 1 year, right? So if you start the game from 2021, they are supposed to go from 1 year and come back the following year, which is 2022. So because of the fact that we've been able to fast forward that year, all these loans that have been done real life in 2022 season, I would essentially get these players back. Players like Nicolas Pepe, who have gone to Nice. As at the time of this video, he has gone to Nice on loan from Arsenal for the 2022-2023 season. But because FM starts from 2021, I'll be getting them back in the team after the 1 year loan. So I'll be getting guys like Nicolas Pepe, Tavares, Maitland-Niles, and so many more back. So I'll try and loan them back to the club if they are interested. That's what I would do. But personally, for me, I would love to have a lot of these players back, because when I check out the squad, I don't think it's enough for what we are trying to build. The goal for this season is to make Champions League, and as you can see, as at the time of this video, Arsenal are actually topping the league ahead of Man City, and that is what they are trying to get to, get that position that they were unable to take last season, and that is top 4. Anything less than top 4 this season, sure Arteta will probably be sacked, and I will probably be sacked too, because that's what they've given me in my vision to qualify for the Champions League, and that's what I've told them I'm going to do. So, and if I'm going to do that, these players are not going to be enough for me by the time I put them into the team. If I try to install the players that I feel like will be useful for me, I'm definitely using TNA as opposed to using Zinchenko in left back, because if you check out Zinchenko, as you can see, his defensive stats are not you know. So I would prefer to use TNA and have Zinchenko be like a utility player everywhere else. And since I'll be getting Tavares back from injury, I'll just have him as the backup instead. And then I can use some other players that I feel like will be useful for me. In my DM, I'll be using Shaka here ahead of Thomas Partey because he is a team leader in the team. When I go to the dynamics and you check the team hierarchy, as you can see, it's the team leader. So I don't have any choice but to use him because if I get him angry, a lot of people will be angry. So I have to put that into consideration. And Thomas Partey will probably be his backup. But if you check the two of them, they are the same age. Thomas Partey will be 29 very soon next month, and Shaka is also 29. Shaka is also 29, and Thomas Partey is on 160k. So I'll be honest with you guys, if I have an opportunity to sell him, if I get a good offer for him, I'm definitely going to sell him and try to go for somebody like Declan Rice. So in my right back, so let's just do this from here. In my right back, rather, Tomiyasu, and in the center backs, I honestly don't trust them anyway, but these are the best players in the team for that position anyway. And this position is uncontested. It's definitely going to be Odegaard. And then I love to use two strikers. I honestly don't want Gabriel Jesus to play in the front because if I check his finishing and his composure is something that I feel like he would have to struggle with. But I'm going to have to test him in that position anyway. I do have friendly matches, so I have friendly matches coming up, and I'll be able to test him out in the striker position. But personally, for me, I want him to play on this side, and I'll be getting strikers who are going to play in front for me. I do have a lot of them, and Bukayo Saka and Martinelli. I would just I have 4 strikers, or basically 5 that I can use. So wingers rather. So I don't necessarily need to get wingers. There is Smith Rowe, there is Bukayo Saka, there is Martinelli, and there is Pepe also coming back. So, and I want to use Gabriel Jesus on the wing. But if I'm unable to get strikers, I would do that. So because of that, the fact that we've fast forwarded 1 year in terms of, I'm talking about getting strikers now. I was able to find out that this guy, look at this, so his contract will be ending next month because he actually signed just 1 year with Roma. So 1 year with Roma at this point is supposed to be from 2022 to 2023, but because the game is starting from 2021, his contract will be ending in 2022, so it will be ending next month. So I'll be working to get him on free transfer. As you can see, there are other clubs involved that wants him, and there are quite a lot of players like that too. I've been able to also identify that Suarez is also a free agent. So as you can see, Suarez is out of contract, and I mean, check out the stats. He's old, but then I mean, it's somebody that we can definitely use. So I'll definitely work to get Suarez, and I have every other position. I would definitely work to also get defenders because I don't trust these guys. Now this is the very, very big challenge for me. Check out this 10 million 200k 10 million 200k. I honestly have no idea what to do with this. I have a lot of players to buy and a lot of people to bring in to build the team to be able to challenge for Champions League, but I can't do that with this. But then if I'm able to sell out a lot of those players, particularly the ones that will be coming back from loan, I'll definitely be able to carry out a lot of those transfers. But this doesn't work for me, guys. But then we can find a way around it. Some of the things I always do is that I go check out players whose contracts are expiring. I check out players who are on transfer list, and I see if there are viable options there that somebody can buy. As you can see right from the bat, we can already see good players that we can bring in. So during the course of the seasons, guys, there will be guys on this list that we can easily buy, and there will be guys on our team that we would love to sell. That is the update. I will fast forward, and we'll get back after 1 month. We'll do a little bit of activities, and I'll give you the update after 1 month of transfer window and what we have done so far. Alright guys, so it's 1 month on. So it's 1 month on, and we are in 1st of July, and everybody that have been able to get in the transfer window, as you can see, our transfer budget has reduced, and the wage budget has also reduced considerably. But so far, as you can see, we've been able to bring in a couple of guys, all of them free transfers, because we don't have the funds to be able to. So many of them are going to be um, some of them are going to be loaned back. Rather, I don't have a viable backup goalkeeper, and I was able to notice. I didn't even know that Karius was actually a free agent. Real life, he doesn't have a club. So I signed him, and I've been able to bring him in. We brought in Jason Denaya, he's also a free agent, and we brought in Axel Zagadou. Since the point where he was released by Dortmund, I think he has been injured, so a club has not been able to sign him yet. So I got him here, and this guy for my under 23 team hopefully develops. And then the main signing I told you guys I was going to get is Belotti. And as you can see, Belotti is in. A lot of clubs tried to get him, but he chose Arsenal. Thankfully, we had to pay him 100 for that. So that is one striker in front, down, and a couple of more. I did see a couple of strikers. I saw Duvan Zapata on the transfer list, and a defender that I would love to get, Eric Bailey, also on the transfer list. We also tried to sign Suarez, but there was no chance. There was just no chance. As you can see, he's off to PSG. PSG snapped him off on free transfer, and there was no way we are competing with PSG. So that is where we are at the moment. I do have a couple of players that I want to sell. These are offers for Cedric and Belotti's confirmation, and we have a lot of guys that we've been able to put on the transfer window. I've transfer listed Sambilo Konga, Nketia, and I'm still looking forward to selling Thomas Partey if I have a viable offer for him. Towards the end of the transfer window, I will see if transfer listing won't get him angry, if I can sell him off and buy Declan Rice. As you can see, Declan Rice is a very, very big upgrade rather, to Thomas Partey, and I would have to bring in a lot of money to be able to sign these guys. So for now, that is where we are at. We do have friendly matches coming up where I'm going to test the guys. So the next time you see me, it is going to be at the final day. We would have played all these matches by then, and we'll see what happens. Alright guys, so here we are, 31st of August. The transfer window has just closed, and you guys won't believe the transfer window we had. Like, oh my god, oh my goodness, just check this out. Quite a lot of those players that I brought in on free transfer, I tried to loan them out, and let's just focus on this instead. Transfer history. So you guys remember we brought in these free transfer guys, and then Belotti. So during the course of that time, I noticed Zapata was being put up on transfer list to be sold by Atlanta, and I had to bring him in. Before then, I didn't realize we could get Victor Osimhen. Guys, this is the signing of the summer. We got Victor Osimhen. How did I pull that off, you might ask? So basically, it dawned on me that I can actually talk to the club to sign somebody for me. We signed him on the 27th of July. Put in mind that at this point we had already sold Pablo Mari, we had sold Cedric, we had sold Matt Turner, we had sold Sambilo Konga to Madrid for 20 million. Cedric, this is a lot of money to get for Cedric, 10 million. Pablo Mari, 16 million. I wasn't going to use him anyway. And Matt Turner. So we've been able to bring in 50 million to add to what we had. And remember, when you clear out these guys, you also give a leeway for your wage budget. So at that point, we had 60 million. So I'm saying this in case you are wondering how I was able to pull that off. As you can see, we got Zapata on the 13th, and we had sold guys at that point. You can see 8, 8, 8. 9. We had sold guys at that point to bring him in on the 13th too. Zambi Lokonga was also sold on the 13th. So at this point, once we brought in this guy, I had like 30 million left on the transfer. As you can see, we brought him in for 14 million. So I just spoke to the club, I just spoke to the board that they should sign Osimhen for me. And lo and behold, they actually agreed. As you can see, every other one of my transfers, they are add-ons. I'll get to that. But this is the only one there is no add-on because it's the board that actually signed him. They agreed and they paid for him and they brought him in. So, as I said it earlier, that Eric Bailey was also up for transfer, and we also got him for a little bit of money. This is an upgrade to what I have on ground. And during the course of that season, at this point, we had sold a little bit more guys, as you can see, and load up more guys. We sold Nketiah for 13 million. We sold Neni for 5 million. And the big news of the day, in terms of outgoing transfer, we sold Thomas Partey to Man U, a direct competitor. I don't know why, but we had to, for 31 million. I mean, a lot of people are going to be skeptical about that, but then I have Shaka in the team and I needed Declan Rice. We went in for Declan Rice, we offered them a contract and they actually accepted. It was supposed to be 67 up front and then 83 million in add-ons. So they accepted and we already offered him a contract. But the problem was, West Ham said they were only going to accept the offer if they can get a replacement for Declan Rice before the end of the transfer window. As you can see, that was on the 31st. That was during the deadline, and I agreed. I offered him a contract. He accepted. So now, that was at the beginning of the transfer window. Sorry, in the afternoon. As you can see, it's 12:30. So, as we were advancing in the deadline day, I noticed there was no way that these guys were actually going to be able to sign a replacement, as at the time it was already about 10 hours to 5 hours, 5 hours rather to go, or 7 hours to go rather. And it was already looking like these guys won't sign a replacement. And if they don't sign a replacement, even after I've been able to give him a contract and he has accepted, the deal was going to fall through. So I took it upon myself to look for another person. At this point, Thomas Partey had already been sold. We cannot get him back. So I identified Scott McTominay. I realized I am sending somebody to them and they are going to have to offload somebody. So we got Scott McTominay, guys. And personally for me, I feel like he is actually an upgrade to Thomas Partey because he has a better development curve. He's 25 years old. He is taller. He has more stamina and he has more work rate. He doesn't have Thomas Partey's vision, but then I don't need him for that. I need him to play that DM role. His tackling is better. His marking is not that better, but let's just compare him to Thomas Partey and have you guys see. As you can see, he's better in the air. Same mentality. Scott McTominay is the green line you are seeing, and Thomas Partey is the blue line. So Thomas Partey is better defensively, but they are very close, 12-13. Physically, Scott McTominay is better. The only place where Thomas Partey beats him hands down is the vision, and I don't necessarily need him for that anyway. So attacking, they are the same thing. The speed, they are the same thing, and everywhere else they are pretty close. And if you also go to check out the attributes, as you can see that the differences are not that much, and physically Scott McTominay beats him hands down, but everywhere else it's a competition. So I need this aggression, I need that, and I feel like Scott McTominay is actually a development in my own side. And as at that time, you guys know we had 60 million, so to say, to spend, and if we check, we've been able to also clear out our wage budget in terms of loaning out Zagadou, in terms of loaning out Reece Nelson. We were also able to sell Maitland-Niles and loan out Denaya. So at this point, I had a lot of adjusting to do in that wage budget. So at that point, it dawned on me, as you can see, we also signed Scott McTominay on the deadline day. If I take you to this point, a lot of stuff, everything that you are seeing here was on the deadline day. We loaned out quite a lot of guys on the deadline day, and this was when the deal fell through, and before that, we already anticipated that the deal was going to fall through, and that was when we went to sign Scott McTominay. And as you can see, that was 18:22. That's 6:22 towards the evening time, as opposed to 12:30 when we bid for Declan Rice. So it was 7 hours, 6 hours before the end of the windows. It was looking like that deal was going to fall through. We signed Scott McTominay, and then I had enough budget to actually look if there is a way to get a defender, which brings me to the second best signing of the transfer window, Araujo, guys. Just check this out. Just look at this stats. Like, is it not just better than what I have in Gabriel and Declan Rice? So in Araujo, I have a proper ball playing defender. He is tall and he is good in a lot of places. And in Eric Bailey, I have a proper no-nonsense defender. That is the balance that I wanted. Eric Bailey is also quite aggressive, but I feel like he will have more sense than Gabriel. When you have played 4 matches in the season and you conceded 2 goals in 2 matches from a penalty considered by the same guy, then you know that something is wrong, knowing that you still have to play a lot of matches, 36 matches at the season. So I don't want to use him. That guy, Gabriel, once the January transfer window comes, I'm going to be actively trying to sell him, because at this point, Eric Bailey and Araujo are going to be my defending peers. So that is where we ended the transfer window, guys. And by the time you see me next, we are going to be playing the Man U game. Before then, I would have played the Everton game. We are going to be looking into the Man U game and playing more during the season. So as you guys can see, that is where we would end off that time. It was a very, very eventful transfer window. So I am actually surprised that we were able to get guys like this even while not playing in the Champions League. I guess probably because of the prestige of the club that Arsenal is. But that is where we are going to end the episode, and I'll see you next time.